Okay, so the Vancouver Canucks win a thrilling 1-0 game and advance on to round two.
Okay, so the
Oh, that's some bad audio there. Um, so yeah, first off, vibe check. How you feeling, Victor?
Oh, ecstatic! It's haven't won a series since 2011, and
Yeah,
that's 13 years in the making. Wow, oh man, so stoked! What a way to finish. Arty party.
yeah, that was quite the slog fest, of a game. You just didn't know. You knew that like the next goal was going to win that game, and with a minute something, who else but Pius Suter with the huge, probably the biggest goal of the Canucks in the past since like you said 2011.
Yeah, he had about 6,000 chances tonight,
He had a lot.
and
So did McCabe as well.
6,001 was good. It was all he
Yeah,
needed.
exactly. Yeah, with the way the goaltenders are playing, you're like, man, there's never going to be a goal scored, and just the. But you know what? I like to say that I predicted 6 games, and I was right. So, no, that was it's definitely a slog of a game. It was like kind of not much was going on, and then that third period, I thought it really opened up, and in a sense, if the game opens up, I kind of feel good if you're a Canucks fan because you have your game breakers, right, that kind of come through, and you hope that one of those guys can make a big play, and that was a great pass. Who
And it
passed
did.
it?
Besser and Pettersson were the
Yeah,
ones there to help that were there to create that goal, and Suter on his 1895th chance of the game finally scored.
yeah, yeah, big goal, huge goal. We'll talk about the what's to come with the second round and all that in a bit here, but yeah, what before the goal scored? How did you think of Vancouver's game and up until that point?
It was back and forth all the way through. They were creating chances, but neither team was scoring grade A chances, but they were getting
Mhm.
chances. His Artie Party in net was solid, and like I said, he has that air of confidence. The bigger the game, the bigger he steps up. It seems like. Like I saw him in
Yeah,
the regular season a couple games, or he still made the save, but it was a little shaky. He in the 3 games he's played here, man, that he looks like a legit number 1 goalie, just standing tall, making saves, and just the aura of Artie Party is he's turning into a Canucks legend.
yeah. I mean, who would have thought, right? You're using technically your third goalie, your Abbotsford Canucks goalie, and he comes out and yeah, he played great. Like he's so poised in net, nothing really seems to phase him. Um,
That
you
rebound
know,
control.
yeah, great rebound control, great finding pucks through traffic, positional play. He isn't overly aggressive in swimming or anything like that. He just plays great positional hockey in net. And when you fast forward back to like what was it last week where Demko's injured and this panic starts to kind of set, and then you have DeSmith plays a good game, and then Seelovs comes in and plays the rest of the way. And yeah, if you're a Canucks fan, you feel really good about the goaltending. You're not really worried about that, no matter who's in net. I mean, you have 3 goalies that are going.
Yeah. Hopefully, Demko will be ready sometime soon in game in the second round. But I'm not but that but not too worried about it for now. Just
Mm-hmm.
McDavid's always is worrisome, but
Yeah,
RT Party's doing his job, and he's making sure Vancouver's partying hard tonight.
yeah, great game by him. I think Demko was seen on the ice today, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's ready for game one or anything like that of the second round. But yeah, crazy
Baby
game.
steps.
Yeah, I thought both teams had a lot of chances. Vancouver in that third period had a couple. I think, yeah, earlier wasn't it? Pius Suter
P.
with a
Suter.
rebound off the
Every
yeah
chance
off the
was P.
wall.
Suter.
Yeah, off the
Yeah,
wall. I thought he was going to find that one, but he was
yeah.
around the net.
The only,
And that's where you got to be.
yeah. Besser had that chance 2-on-1 where he went to
Mm,
Deke instead of using his shot, but that was a good chance, and Saros was really good on that to make that save. He read the play
yeah,
well.
Saros is like these. I mean, didn't. I don't know what his stats ended up being now after those couple games in the whole series, but he definitely was playing like Saros like this game, last game, and you're like, uh-oh. And now he's starting to wake up because he made a ton of big saves in that third period.
Oh,
But
big in the third.
He was big. Yeah, he made some huge saves like that Besser one, Good move to the backhand. Yeah.
It didn't look like either team was going to score on the goalies. Those two were not letting anything through.
No. And even the goal that Vancouver scored, the Suter goal, like there's no chance for Saros. That's, spin around pass to the front of the net. But yeah, that's some anxious moments in the few final seconds, but a huge block there by Myers, I believe it was. And
yep.
Canucks are off to the second round.
Yeah, Tyler Myers. Oh, he sprawled out, went Alex Edler style, and just double pad stack made the save, and he did a great job before that. Before the shot even came, he tied up O'Reilly, who had a wide open and tap in, and he didn't have his stick down to get it because Myers had him tied up.
Yeah, good play. There was that scary play earlier too, where I think the puck was flipped up by O'Reilly that was on top of the net at one point. Close calls. Both teams just mucked it up. Opened it up a little bit in the third, and Canucks got that huge goal.
Yeah, Sherwood had a chance where he just threw it on net and it went off. Can't remember who it went off, and it just Zucker tipped it just wide, and that was a heart attack for a moment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Preds had their chances as well, right? It was just a 1-goal game. Who had that one play, that one bounce, and Vancouver got it because
game breakers came through.
Yeah, I mean, Pius Suter, the game breaker, right?
But Besser, it was Besser and Pettersson doing the work.
Yeah. I was watching that play. I was like, oh, they kept it in. They kept the puck around the wall, and they got it. Man, this could have been such a different a talk right now had it not gone Vancouver's way, because you had a 3-1 series lead and it's going to Game 7, and anything could happen. Huge game for Vancouver to put this one away finally.
Yeah, great for the city and the team. It's like we said earlier, 13 years since the last time they won a playoff series. And let's give some love to the two giant defensemen back there this series. Zadorov and Myers they've had their huge. Especially Myers had his issues for the past 5 years, but this playoff series, he was a monster. Zadorov was everywhere in this whole series, scoring goals, making hits. It's exuding tons of energy. You love to see that out of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, right? Because the team's going to go after Hughes, right? He's top, I don't know, what do you want to call it, top 3 best defenseman in the NHL at the very least, on the conservative side, and so that the rest of the lineup they need to step up, right? Like the other deep pairings, right? Because Hughes can't play all 60 minutes. You need those other guys to step up, and I mean they really did. Like you're saying, Zadorov played great. Like I don't, even Cole played pretty well as well.
I would probably say Hronek has turned into the number 6 defenseman.
The way through, I mean, he made some good plays, but he wasn't as noticeable as the first half.
His decision making was poor, like the slap passes, but the rest of his team has been able to pick up where he's been struggling. Like Zadorov, Myers, Susie is hard to get around. That man is very smart. Might not be the best at clearing the puck out, but you can't get around him, and him and Myers have been a very good pairing together.
Yeah, I know they have. That was big advantage for Vancouver, I think. On paper anyway, coming into this series, and then it was, I think Nashville. I'm assuming that their kind of goal was to kind of muck it up and make it really defensive hockey and low danger chances, and that's what we saw these last few games, which they did, and they succeeded at that. So it's especially when you start going. I mean, this series is kind of all like that, but you look at some of the other series, the first couple games are a little bit different, but especially you look at game 5, 6, and 7, historically, they usually are tighter games and they're not as loose and open as the first couple. But this one was I guess a little bit of a slog, but you need those big plays. Canucks come through. Anything else you want to add here before we kind of look ahead or preview what's to come?
Wasn't too the the refereeing was really weird. Where
That two
Nashville would
minute,
get a
that
power
yeah,
play for they would just knock o- knock over a Canuck, no call. Same play would happen, and the Canucks would get called. It was
yeah,
almost double the penalty power plays. Like, not saying
yeah,
Vancouver would have scored on those power plays, the refs against them. Just weird calls. Even that Besser 2 minute, 4 minute double minor.
yeah. I was
I mean,
surprised
that
that
was
that
a
was a double
follow through,
minor.
and he led with it. He didn't even get a chance to put his stick down. He was just still a follow through, and they called it. And just some weird calls. And I hate to be that
Hmm.
guy, but expecting this, especially with McDavid playing. We're gonna see the same
Oh,
thing.
yeah. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, with McDavid though, with his speed, he creates so many penalties. That's yeah. The officiating, yeah. Like you said, that double minor. I don't know about that one. There was at the very end the cross check.
Yeah, on
That was a
Lindholm.
cross check. But like the
I've
playoffs,
seen that happen to Lindholm
exit.
this series, and no call.
Yeah, right. It's one of those things where you see it happen often during the playoffs, and it doesn't get called. And I don't know if it was just the time of the game or what, but
Gardner's been mugged all series, no calls.
yeah.
I
So
if you're gonna make
yeah,
the I said at the beginning of the series, if you're gonna make that call for one team, you got to make it for both teams, and
yeah,
it's got to
yeah. It's the
stay
consistency,
consistent.
right? That's what you want.
Yeah,
But it's not often you find the consistency from game to game in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm just looking at the stats here. So the high danger chances in the game were 12 for Nashville and 8 for Vancouver. So nothing too crazy. Expected goals pretty much even. Scoring chances pretty much even. Shots Vancouver outshot them 28-21. Yeah, just a very close game, and that's
yeah,
just that one extra chance, one extra goal.
yeah. Who were
Um,
your 3 stars for the series?
3 stars for the series. Seelovs has got to be that. Like, he's got to be one, right? Like, I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
who else can take it, unless you have another name that you can think of that would be
Uh,
the first star. Like
in no particular order, mine would probably be
Miller's got
Zadorov,
to be.
uh, Seelovs, and I would give it to Philip Forsberg. He was noticeable.
Oh yeah, if you're talking about Predators as well, then yeah, he was their
Yeah,
best forward for sure.
yeah.
Um,
I thought he was the
for
best player
Nashville.
throughout the series. Can't.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't see enough of like Yossi, like he made plays,
No,
but he just couldn't get to his, I don't know, style of play, or what you kind of expect of his caliber of
he didn't
defenseman.
dominate. He didn't hold possession.
No.
He didn't create. He was this. He was there for a few plays, but
Hmm.
it wasn't. It wasn't where Vancouver never let him dictate play. And same thing
Yeah,
with Nashville. They didn't let Hughes dictate play.
yeah. Well, that's sure. That's how they kind of drew it up in their game plan. Just like circled that guy's name, be like, don't let this guy get going.
And both teams did that. They didn't let the 2-star defenseman and carry it around, let
mhm.
and shooting, creating plays. Both were held in check pretty firmly.
Yeah, yeah. It was a well checked game. It was very, very like defensive and low danger chances. I mean, you look at some of those other series. There's a lot of chances. This one's not one of them. Like I was saying, pretty much the last few games. It's like a chess match. You're slowly going through.
It's not Colorado, Winnipeg.
No, that's yeah. Oh, Winnipeg. That's a tough one. But that firepower on Colorado. Speaking of firepower, okay, let's kind of bring it over to round 2, as it's official now. It's going to be Vancouver, Edmonton. I believe it looks like it's going to be on Tuesday, game 1 in Vancouver. That's going to be a very different series. Edmonton has
I hope
way more
so.
firepower than Nashville. And their power play is clicking at a ridiculous 50% right now in the playoffs against LA. Anyway, so that's not fun. That's going to be a big thing. You got to really try to not take penalties.
Yeah, gotta
But
be
I think,
disciplined.
I don't know about you. The way that you know Vancouver can kind of look at Edmonton as, okay, find a way to shut down McDavid, Draisaitl, and get in on their D, get those pucks in deep on that defensive, core that they have at Edmonton, and just go after them. And, Skinner, he has sometimes good games, sometimes not so good games, and maybe Seeloffs can steal you some games. I don't know. What do you think about the matchup?
Yeah. LA didn't force anything. They weren't.
No.
Their defensive system just didn't seem to work, which I get it. With the way McDavid plays, he comes with a head of steam all over the place. Hey, so if you're a passive 1-3-1 like LA plays, hey, there's going to be more room for him to move around. You're trying to catch up to McDavid, and good luck with that. Vancouver's more static and moves around on teams and forces you to do things. You can't stop him. There's going to be no chance.
Yeah.
So, but just contain him, force him to the outside, make other teams, make the other players around him make plays.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. Although I'm sure you don't want Draisaitl getting that puck either. He's been I don't know how many points he has, like 10 points so far in those 5 games, or 5 goals, 5 assists. I think that's I'm in the ballpark anyway. You're gonna have to you got to be really disciplined against the Oilers. That power play is I mean, you look at the Nashville. I don't know what they went, but their power play was horrible. I mean, can't say Vancouver's was great. 2 goals, and they weren't even like a typical power play goal. So Edmonton's going to be a real threat there, and you hope.
It's about matchups sometimes, and maybe Vancouver matches up well against them. Where Edmonton's bottom 6 isn't that good. Their defense is iffy. Like Evan Bouchard might be a top offensive defenseman, but I feel he really struggles, especially if you dump it into his corner. He's very adverse to taking contact. So you send Dakota Joshua in his way, give him a couple hits. Lindholm home in there. Garland is going to drive him nuts.
Yeah, that's the hope. You gotta get those guys frustrated. You gotta kind of what Nashville tried to do to Vancouver is get as many hits as you can on the big players and try to muck it up. Like I don't know. I think it's going to be a different series than this one. At least I assume. I don't think it's going to be like a 1-0, 2-1 games.
Very unlikely with the way these teams play, and Vancouver's usually been able to make teams play their game. And Edmonton falls right into that. Edmonton, the same word that we've talked about, the Canucks structure. Vancouver's structure is going to force Edmonton to see if they have that same structure instead of just pond hockey. Give the puck to McDavid and let him do it. Now they have to play a system and see how Edmonton can handle that. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. The one thing is the Edmonton Oilers. I think they did win one game 1-0 against LA, so they maybe can play that in style, but we'll see how it is.
LA is not exactly an offensive juggernaut.
No, they're not. Okay, let me present this to you. Who do you think is a better team or a tougher team? The LA Kings or the Nashville Predators?
I would say still the Kings.
So the Kings
have a little bit more of they have more than one line. The system isn't built for scoring more than 1 goals. 1 or 2 goals, but also it's the matchup where LA's that passive 1-3-1 works against Vancouver. Might not work against everybody else. But it just works. Like Edmonton, the 1-3-1 is not a great thing for McDavid. Yeah, too much sitting around where that's going to be easy for him to pick apart, and Vancouver's going to have that moving defense, and Carson Soucy is great at closing down space and not allowing players to attack the line. He's going to be a big key figure in stopping McDavid and getting to the line.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big MO for Vancouver is stop. Don't let those Edmonton top players get their feeling, get their touches, and do so in a way where you're not taking penalties. That's going to be a big one, right? Because if you're going to try to be too aggressive and take penalties against them, they're going to make you pay, and you don't want to give them opportunities.
McDavid and Draisaitl are going to get the superstar calls.
Yeah, we'll see who the refs are and how that will be called. I'm sure it'll be different than this series. It's always a little bit different series to series, but they'll hopefully set the standard in game one. We'll have an idea of what how that goes. If you look at Edmonton Oilers, they faced the Kings 3 years in a row. 3 years ago, won in 7 games. Last year in 6. This year in 5. I'm assuming next year they'll win in 4. So I'm assuming if they do face each other again, I'm sure if you're LA, you're like, I had enough of this matchup. I don't want to face them anymore. I think that's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an exciting series. 2 Canadian teams. Rivals. I'm excited for it. I think it's a little, definitely scarier than Nashville. I think, I don't know about you, but like, despite the standings, I know Vancouver ended up with a better record. I don't know if Vancouver's going into this series as the, the favorite by any means. What do you think? The underdog?
Absolutely not. Vancouver is clearly the underdog in this.
And that maybe helps them,
Yeah. It'll free it up. And just play loose, keep that structure going, and maybe without the weight of having to win in that first round anymore. It's off their shoulders and off their backs. Play a little bit freer, stop gripping the sticks a little bit more. Maybe P.S. Suter will only need about 3,000 chances to score goals.
Yeah, maybe he scores in 2,999.
Yeah. There's a lot of positives to look at from it. Playoff tested again now, so moving on to the next round, and having no daunting tasks of playing the top best player in the world. For all we know, he could be AI.
Yeah,
we should really check him.
Yeah, it's there's it's crazy to think that like every year, every team is finding. They circle that guy, stop this guy, and no one can do it. It's remarkable. And same with Draisaitl. It's like where he's going to be on the power play.
Yeah,
it's guys like that. Exactly, right on the goal. He's going to be there, and yet he just keeps scoring from there. So they're going to have to. Their PK for Vancouver is really going to have to, because you're going to give up some penalties. You try to minimize that, and you work on the PK, and hopefully the game opens up more than the Nashville series, and Vancouver can do a little bit more damage and get more shots on goal. It'll be an interesting series.
I'm no coach, but wonder if you go back 1980 style and just literally just shadow McDavid and just have one guy follow him around. Forget the structure. Yeah.
You also have to, worry about Zach Hyman. He's always in that front of the net mucking it up too. But it's a lot of. It always goes through 97.
If McDavid doesn't have the puck, Hyman can't get the puck either to score.
Yeah. I'm curious what Stuart Skinner's stats were in that first round, because he's statistically, looking back, he could have a good game, but he can also have a very poor game, and I think that's going to be a huge kind of thing to look for. Is how is he going to play in the series, right? Is he going to be that guy who's making a ton of saves, or is he a guy who's, just looks a little shaky at times?
And their defense, I think the 2 most important guys on the defense on their side is going to be Ekholm and Kulak. Those 2 are really good shutdown defenders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Darnell Nurse, you can easily he'll make a mistake or he'll let you through.
Mm-hmm.
Bouchard he's not Erik Karlsson bad on defense, but he's not much better.
Yeah, he is a threat though, like as obviously offensively, but like on the power play, I think that's what makes the Edmonton power play so difficult to defend against, because obviously, don't let McDavid skate around. That's already hard enough as it is. Then you got Draisaitl on one side for the one-timer. Make sure that doesn't happen. Also, Hyman's in front of the net. Don't want to get it to him. And then if they want to get it to the point for Bouchard, he can find a way to get it on net and blast it home. So it's like, no one can really figure it out. But, the best way to defend it, I guess, is just try not to take penalties and have some kind of system there to, try to stop
Don't
him
take
from
the
scoring.
silly undisciplined penalties.
Yeah, you can't get frustrated.
Yeah.
Against that team.
It all revolves around McDavid. Everything is with him. Like, no one's gonna go after Evander Kane or Zach Hyman or any of their other players. Everything. If when McDavid's engaged and everything goes through him. It just opens up everything for that team.
Yeah.
Like, Draisaitl's a great player as is, but is he even better because the game plan is there for McDavid? If McDavid's not there, like, I don't want anything happen to McDavid because I'm not that person. But if he's not there, is Draisaitl still this super elite guy that gets his stats, or is he just a good player?
I still think he's just a superstar. I still think he's elite. McDavid just makes him better. That's just for sure, right? There's no, McDavid makes anybody better around him. Just the way he's able to kind of, circle the zone, find that open seam all the time. So definitely the Hyman, Draisaitl, anybody that plays with McDavid benefits from some of the looks that he gives them. So the power play is going to be a big thing. I think goaltending, like you feel great with Vancouver's goaltending right now. So if Demko comes back at some point, you're putting him in, right?
I think you have to.
Yeah, right.
Nothing against Artie Party, but
he's your number one. You got to give him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone said a quote back in the day. He said he played on the line with Mario Lemieux, and the third person on that line was a garbage can, and the garbage can got 100 points that year.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel what the Oilers are.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they still have some depth. I think like Kane's injured apparently, and that's what he said at the end of the season. And I don't think he's had an effective year compared to what he normally is, especially in the playoffs, right? I mean,
kind of worn out his welcome. He's good for a couple of years, and then he'll wear out his welcome.
Yeah, so we'll see how it is because, if you can get him frustrated, he's a guy who typically takes some penalties. He takes bad penalties. Yeah. So
let's hope he keeps that up.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Get under his skin, find a way. I think having home ice advantage definitely helps Vancouver. Because you want that, the crowd's been great in Vancouver. Hopefully, the 2 games at home there, you can try to get a good start going, get that crowd behind you. Because I'm sure, I've never played in front of a crowd like that. Obviously, I'm no professional hockey player, but that's got to give you some extra energy, an extra jump, and pep in your step, right? Yeah. So hopefully,
that's what the team said. In game 1, they felt the crowd, and it really helped them. They got emotional. It gave them that extra boost as well. So hopefully, game 1, same thing. Get that going, and like as you were saying earlier, it's a whole different series. It's a contrast of styles between Nashville and Edmonton.
Yeah, very different. One's a defensive shutdown, try to limit the looks against and just try to muck it up offensively. Edmonton's got a lot of firepower, but it will be interesting to see what Edmonton's game plan is for Vancouver. And I hear some people saying, like, if you read on Twitter, like, oh, well, look at the regular season. It's like nobody cares about the regular season. Those scores and those stats, that does not matter, right? That happened a long time ago. That's regular season. This is playoffs. It's going to be completely different.
I'll take Canucks as an underdog any day of the week.
I think they are, right? I don't think anyone has Canucks as the favorite in that series.
Pressure's all on Edmonton. Let them squeeze the sticks.
Yeah, pressure's definitely on them. They've had, they've gone deep in the playoffs a bunch of times. It's just but that's, they have a lot of experience. So, but I also think that Vancouver's, despite them not really, making the playoffs for a while, except for, this year, they sometimes when you have a team making the playoffs for the first time, you can see those mistakes that they make or the emotion swings. They're too emotional. And I feel like, like we've talked about, they're really structured and they kind of stick to their game. And that really, helps them and it will give them a chance in this series against Edmonton.
Yeah, guys like JT Miller, Ian, he's played a lot of playoff games. Ian Cole and Teddy Bluger are Stanley Cup champions. In fact, Teddy Bluger is the defending Stanley Cup champion. Hopefully he can go back-to-back this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's what all Canucks fans, I'm sure, are hoping for. And then Pettersson, obviously there was a lot of people are wondering what's going on there, but, there's another series coming up. he's got a chance to prove himself again. So
he was pretty good tonight. He was decent
yeah,
tonight.
he played. Yeah, he was.
Could have been better, but he's injured. What can you do? But he was a little bit more visible tonight.
Yeah, he definitely had a better game. I mean, he factored in the winning goal. So there's that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything? Anything? Yeah. Did you have something?
What do you think? How the series is going to play? Who's going to win? How many
Prediction?
games?
Oh man, this one's really hard. I don't know. Like the Nashville one, I had just a strong feeling it was going to be 6. But anything can happen. But this one is like I just. Let me see. I'm gonna go with my gut feeling. I'm gonna say. Might have to go with Edmonton in 7. I don't want to. I'm not gonna just because we're talking Canucks. I can't just be like, well, Canucks are gonna win everything. But I just look at it on paper. I'm like, they've got the experience. Offensively, they're so good. And I think ultimately, if Skinner can play well and their defense can hold up, I think Vancouver's gonna give them their best shot though. So we'll see. So what do you think?
I'm going with a hot take. Canucks in 5.
Canucks in 5. All right.
It's not going to be blow. It's going to be close. Every game's going to be close. The Vancouver just is going to pull it out. There's an overtime game in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or a 3-2, 4-3 win. They're going to win in 5. Might not. The series final will be close. Not as close as the actual game show they will be.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really see like there being like a 5-1 game or anything like that. But I mean, I almost want to wait till I see game 1 and then I'll get a sense of what the series might look like. It's really, I don't know, I'm having a hard time knowing how both teams are going to come out. But yeah, I guess we'll see game 1.
Yeah, I will not go against the Canucks. I'm good.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't even ask you. I just ask you how many games.
Yeah.
At least
we're going to wake up.
Yeah, well, I mean they're going to need that. I think right against Edmonton, you're going to need that. They're going to need to be better. As good as they were defensively, they're going to need to be better offensively.
Yep.
Because
and more discipline.
Edmonton's a better team.
That's going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Keep that structure and discipline.
Because like Nashville's power play looked pretty horrible, and you're not facing that power play at all. So you got to be ready. You're facing something that's like, yeah. That's going to be a big thing. I think that's going to be like the number one key for Vancouver. Really is discipline.
That AI player.
Discipline and shutting those guys down.
Yeah. Hopefully, the controller will run out of battery or something like that.
Yeah, they don't charge him before the game or something, and he just dies halfway through. Who knows?
Yeah, he just can't get going, and slow controller.
Yeah. I think another thing too that we're talking about all these big guns. Another thing that is going to be important that maybe we're not thinking about as much is Vancouver's bottom 6 forwards are going to have to play better than Edmonton's.
Yeah.
Right. Because sometimes when you have good players and you will hope that Vancouver can cancel them out some way, at the very least, then you need that you need those other players to step up in certain moments, and hopefully they can do that.
I think Vancouver's third line will be better. It'll come down to the 2 fourth lines.
Fourth lines. What does Edmonton have? Perry. But I have to take a look at the roster. I already forget. Perry and
Perry's going to be in Silas' face. He's going to try to get at Hughes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think they're going to do the same thing. Try to target Hughes. I think that's what Vancouver's going to do to McDavid. Yeah, you have to, right? You have to go after the best players. That's just the way it is. You don't want them to get going.
Hopefully the rest will help out Vancouver stars a little bit more. Yeah,
we'll see how I think game 1 we'll have an idea of how it's going to be officiated and how the tempo is going to go.
Yeah, Garland is not Swedish for cross-check me in the back, punch me and pull and face wash me in scrums.
Is that old Brian Burke quote from back in the day?
Yep.
Yeah. Good old. It's not Swedish for you. Okay. Anything you want to add before we the end of the stream here?
No, excited for whenever the game 1 is. have my white towel waving.
Yeah. Oh, are you going to be at the game?
Nope, nope. But I have
Oh,
a white
okay.
tall.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Game
Yeah.
one.
White towel from
I'll-
home. Okay.
I'm gonna be at Game 7, if there is one.
Are you actually?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. So maybe my
Games,
prediction
yeah.
will be right, but hopefully not the result that I said.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Canucks advance to the second round for the first time since 2011. If we're not counting the bubble, that's was a little different. But okay, thanks so much for tuning in. Go follow us on Twitter there. Our handles are underneath their name. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like this video, comment, let us know your thoughts and how excited you are about the second round. And we will catch you after the next game.
Go Canucks, go.